girls and boys of the Women Economic Forum. We heard loads of stories about being born and bred entrepreneurs. I would just like to ask if any of us are really born or bred sustainability officers of our homes and our lives. If not, I'm going to get you all to be bred today. The hotel has been fantastic. They keep giving us water bottles to drink from every 2 minutes. But what we are doing is we're moving away from the tables and leaving the water bottles there. They're obliged to throw them away. By 2050, 1 billion people will be without water in the world. So let's take it with us and drink it wherever you go.
Yes,
Thank you.
Get your notebooks ready. Ready? Get a pen and paper. Because we're getting the checklist for being an entrepreneur extraordinaire. This is our last penultimate session for the day, and then we have a gala dinner an hour after. But I'll tell you all about that in a bit. At this moment, please help me in welcoming the speakers for our last session for day one for the Women Economic Forum in Madurai. Madurai, are you with us? How many people from Madurai here? Okay, so you're sleeping. You're awake, right? Only the lovely lady in the green is awake. Madurai, are you awake? Thank you. Thank you, Madurai. America? Woo! Yeah, I always trust the Americans. And the rest of India. Midgo! Cheerleader par excellence. I'd like to welcome Karyadi Selvan, Janet Hutchins. Yes? Ah, please, Janet, come on over. Sorry, I was looking for you on that table. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together in welcoming the principal and creative director for Hutchins Media, a lady who comes with over 3 decades of experience in social media marketing, website design, graphic design, and branding. This is a real gem we found and flew her over all the way from the United States of America. Can I hear it from you to welcome the lovely Janet? Welcoming Bonnie M. Conceso. What does it take for you guys to put your hands together? Thank you. The founder, principal, and architect at Oscar and Pawnee Architects. A lady with much experience in projects, green projects, sustainability, hospitals, campuses, the whole gamut. It's an absolute pleasure to have you with us. Dr. S. Rajmohan. B.T. Bangera. Welcoming Mr. B.T. Bangera, the Managing Director of High Tech Arai Private Limited, with 2 decades of experience in planning services and procedures in the corporate sector. Thank you. Welcoming you, sir. L. Ramanathan. The Managing Director of Sri Vinaya Screens, one of the largest commercial offset and packaging printing houses in Tamil Nadu. Welcoming you. Aladi Arun. On the way, perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Initiating this checklist of a conversation with the gentleman on my left, welcoming Mr. B.T. Bangera. Yes, please, would you take a journey?
Good evening to all of you. Sisters from beyond borders, ladies and gentlemen. This is a challenge for me. I have never given a speech within 5 minutes. I'll try my best because 30 a story I have to give. First of all, I am an electrical engineer and MBA from Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, 1970 batch. Thereafter, I worked for multinationals, 2-3 multinationals for about 20 years. During this period, I thought, working for somebody will not give you satisfaction because your full output you cannot give to them because you have to work within the framework of the organization. So I thought I must start my own and create a very unique organization. And I have been waiting for opportunity because I cannot become an entrepreneur, no funds. So I was waiting for. And first lesson is, of course, all the checklists are there in your theme. Shine. That shine itself gives all the themes, support, then inclusivity, harmony, nurture and empowerment. All these 5 elements I have used in this. So not that if everybody uses these elements, you will be successful. Only maybe 1 out of 99 because people do not know how to apply that. So I have been waiting for an opportunity. Suddenly I got one person coming across me and saying since last 5 years I have been working, he is a technical man, working, running my own unit, but I have made 80 lakhs turnover, 40 lakhs loss. And I am trying to close it last 2 years, nobody is buying, I have lost all my saving. So I said to motivate him, it is a gold mine, why are you closing and selling? He said, in that case, why don't you take over and run it? I jumped for it because I have been waiting. So this is one lesson. When the opportunity comes, you have to grab it. You should identify the opportunity. I took over within 1 week, I was there. 2 months I found people are 5 years, they had completely lost hope, so employ 75 people. So 2 months I found nothing is happening. Then I realized, I called them for 4 days into a hotel and I wanted to convey what is my dream to them. You may have dream, but if they don't align with you and if you carry the people along with you and connect with them, nothing can happen. So I took them 4 days and explained them what is my dream, what we are going to do, what you will become, because everybody will think, what is in it for me? So I have explained to him, you people are last 5 years drawing 1,000 rupees, in 5 years it will become 7,500 rupees. Work for it. It's your company, you should think, because I have given up my job, otherwise I can go somewhere and get a good salary. I have come here to create this and make a unique organization. Why I am saying unique is, best can make you the number one, but unique can make you the only one. That's what I wanted always. I took them 4 days, they realized here is a hope, they started. Then I asked them, now that it is your company, you give me the your vision, what you want to become. I had my vision, but I wanted to make it shared vision. So ultimately about half a day they discussed and said we must become leader in the industry. We are having 5% share and 40 lakhs loss. No bank will allow me to come in and they will say go out, we won't give. So borrowed money at 31%, 3 crore and started. And the moment they started working after their vision was shared, turnover doubled. Per month instead of 10 lakh it became 20 lakh. That means per first year itself 2.5 crore. And we brought it from 80 lakhs to today 675 crores with the collaboration from Japan with the Mitsubishi organization. And we have now acquired a company paying down payment from the pocket, not from the bankers, 50 crore, and we acquired a company because initially nobody allowed us to come to the bank. I never allowed the bank to come to us. We were financing ourselves and we have never borrowed the money from the bank. So from 75 people, today we have got 3,100 people with 675 crore turnover, and out of that 1,000 employees are ladies, because collector was telling me rural ladies are coming to the city and there is unemployment, they are not getting job. I went to 8 villages, hired about 100 to 80 to 100 women, and hired a place. Each village, we got the job for them. We took the job to the villages, and about 1,000 ladies are working today for us. They are ISO 9000 and zero defect, because we are supplying to now companies called Chrysler, number 3 topmost company. We supply in lakhs of pieces. If one piece fails, 25 lakhs is the penalty. And these are the products these ladies are producing the last 15 years, and not a single rejection so far. This is the power of women. We have trained them on ISO and zero defect, total quality management, etc. Then that does not happen sufficient. How to carry the people with you? What promises you have made, it must happen. We carry the family also along with us. In fact, about 8 years back, 2 of our employees were found 31 years age old, cancer. The moment we heard, we called LIC people and said, we want a policy. Suppose he dies tomorrow, his age is 31, he would have retired after 29 years. If he dies tomorrow, his family must get salary every month for next 29 years. On third day he died. His family is getting the salary. We may not be there in the company. So both the guys died, and another recently, last year it happened. 2 kidneys failed. Doctor said it's no hopes. We bought for another 15 years, every month, as if he is alive, his family will get the salary. So this is the type of protection you have to give your employees, and so that they will give life to you. So this is how we have been managing them, and this is how we have grown with them. And their salary, what was 1,000 rupees, today their monthly total salary is about 60 to 70,000 rupees, each one of them. We even take care of their children, particularly today in the schools and colleges, there is no course called ethics. We bring them to the office every Sundays, teach them on moral science, conduct essay competition, etc., to sensitize the people. Because I have told people, if anybody says these children, they must say their parents must be working for high-tech RI. So that type of unique things we have been trying to do to the people, and this is how we have grown, and we are still growing. In next 2 years, we will be 1,000 crore company. We have become a multinational now. We have diversified. So this is the story. Thank you very much.
Mr. Kairadi Selvan, welcoming Mr. Kairadi, the Managing Director of CAD Center. Also welcoming Dr. L. Ramanathan. Sorry? Oh, no, my mistake. I'm sorry. Yes, you're there. Yes, I'm so sorry. No. Who I actually meant to invite was Dr. S. Rajamohan. Please put your hands together in welcoming this preeminent environmentalist with his organization, Environ Care. Welcoming you, sir. If I could invite to speak with us this lovely lady all the way from America, welcoming Janet. Woohoo!
Good afternoon, almost evening. How is everybody? It's been a long day, huh? Awesome day. So I had the amazing, distinct pleasure of meeting this lovely lady the other day, Mamta, and I knew she was my kind of gal because as she was passing out things for us to do, directions to take, schedules, at the end of it she would say, "Done." because I love to get things done and checked off my checklist. So, who here loves to create a to-do list? All right. But who here loves to check things off their to-do list? Woohoo! That's even better. Well, I love doing a to-do list also. In fact, I write one every single morning religiously, and it's usually based on the one that I wrote the night before, just before I went to bed. But the best thing about the checklist is when you do check off things, it actually creates a chemical creation in your brain, and you get a dopamine burst, which makes you feel great. So it's no question that you love checking things off. In fact, I like that so much, I will put things on my to-do list that are like ridiculous, like feeding the dog, and then I'm checking off. Or emptying the dishwasher. But the one thing I really realized about my checklist, my to-do list, was that I wasn't on it. Everybody else was on it. All my clients were on it. My kids were on it. All the people in my life were on it, and I was nowhere to be found. I actually remembered a story that goes back almost 20 years now. So I got suddenly divorced, had to create a business out of thin air to pay for myself and my 4 children. And I was a total wreck in that period of my life. I'm nothing like I am today. And at the urging of my friends, they said, would you please go see a therapist because you are a mess. So I did. I went to see the therapist. And the very first time that we met for about 20 minutes, and then she said to me, so what are you going to do for yourself today? And I was like, what? What am I going to do for myself? I don't ever do anything for myself. I have to make dinner for the kids, I have to empty the dishwasher, I have to do the laundry. I'm like, it took us another 10 minutes for me to actually come up with something that I would do for myself. And all I could come up with was, I guess I'll go home and take a hot bath by myself. And it felt great, and it was awesome. So oftentimes within my business, clients will come to me and say to me, hey, we are starting a new business, and we need a website and a logo stat. And I say to them, you do. But there's a lot of other things on that checklist before we ever get to the website and the logo. We have to talk about why you want to do this business. We have to talk about the people that you want to serve. We have to talk about how you want to make a difference in the world. And I call it the 3-legged stool. So the 3-legged stool, as you know, if one of those legs is weak, it's going to topple over. So the 3-legged stool are, why do you want to start this business? Why is it important to you? How does it fill your heart and soul and make your soul sing? Because if it doesn't have that, it's not worth doing. The second thing is, how is this going to help other people in a significant way? Because if it doesn't help other people and solve their problems, it's not worth doing. And the third thing is, how is it going to really make a difference in the world? Because you know what? If it doesn't make a difference in the wide world, it's probably not worth doing. So when I work with clients, those are the first 3 things that we talk about. Now, since this is an economic forum, I also want to talk about my journey in my business and how I decided early on that I was not going to be a statistic. And when I mean a statistic, I talk about how I'm not going to be a statistic like 95% of divorced women in the United States who get divorced and their income level drops. And I don't know whether that's a situation in India, but I think it's a worldwide situation. I remember the day before I got married, my mother said to me, and she must have known something, she said to me, Janet, make sure you can always take care of yourself. Don't ever rely on somebody else to take care of yourself. She must have known and forecasted something, since I got divorced 20 years after that, and all the money disappeared, and I had to create a business out of nothing, as I said, which I've turned into a very comfortable six-figure business, by the way, in only 6 years. So, as an economic forum, let's talk about money for a minute. I feel that how we do money is how we do everything. And understanding how you do money is one of the first important things that you can do as an entrepreneur to really define that. There is a personality quiz which was developed by this woman, Kendall Summerhawk, and I'm a certified coach in her method. And she has 8 money archetypes. They are the accumulator, the alchemist, the nurturer, which I think a lot of women possess, the maverick, the connector, the celebrity, the ruler, and the romantic. And while there are aspects of us in all of those different archetypes, we tend to have the most important, significant ones in the top 3. And when we start to understand what those core strengths are that we have, but more importantly, the core challenges that we have regarding money, it can make all the difference in the world for your business and for your future, so that you don't become a statistic and that you can rise and shine above your current situation and make a bigger impact on the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Janet. I was taking tons of notes when you were speaking. An absolutely heart-touching sharing. You were funny, you were wise, you were it all. Thank you for being you. Thank you. I also said, when you were talking about the checklist, I also said that, yes, not just hardworking, but heartworking. And that for me is a notable quality. So thank you for being here, thank you for being you, and for all the work you do. Thank you, Janet. Thank you. I'd like to invite another speaker who's just joined us, welcoming Mr. Aladi Arun. Please join us on the stage, sir. He's the founder of AK Consultants, providing world-class student career counseling services, as well as admissions, global admissions. It's an honor to have you with us. If I could invite our next speaker, the lovely Poni M. Kunseso, to share her work and her journey. She's the architect of Oscar and Poni Architects. Welcoming you.
Thank you. On the outset, I'd like to thank WEF for giving me this fantastic opportunity to address this very august audience. Good evening to you all. It's a real pleasure to be here. I'll make this really brief, but when I come to my checklist, I'd like to bring examples of my journey into entrepreneurship. I've had a bit of a strange history. I was supposed to have been married off when I was 16. Fought that, got into a professional degree program in NIT Trichy, where I was the first woman student among 3,000 boys. Fought male chauvinism like crazy, and it was a tough ride, but a good one because I learned a lot. And then went on to the US to study, broke another promise, told my dad I'll get married at the end of NIT Trichy, didn't do that, ran off to the US, studied at Cornell and Harvard universities, worked there, worked in New York City for about 5 years, got married there, married a Catholic, me being a Hindu, so that's another rule broken. But this journey was a good one because it made me realize that, one has to be a bit daring. One has to be convinced about the idea one has. One has to be passionate about the kind of work one is doing. So these are the three things that I feel is so important for entrepreneurship. My journey in this particular area has been a mixture of joys and sorrows, but that is what has made me a very strong person. 25 years ago, I came back to India and opened up this design consultancy firm with my husband. And there again, I faced the good old male chauvinistic problems, but my training in the US made me think a little different and act a little different. I stopped accepting things. I stopped accepting this issue of social conditioning. I'm addressing this as a woman entrepreneur because I think there are more women out here. It's very important to say no to naysayers, say no to social conditioning, because in our country we always say this is what a woman does, this is what a man does. And that it should be unacceptable if you want to succeed in the field of entrepreneurship, and if you are a woman. You just need to snap out of it and keep going. Coming to my checklist, it's important to be very confident of what you want to market, and that stems from your passion. My passion was architecture. I gave up everything for it and it paid off. So the confidence level stems from the subject knowledge, the conviction of one's ideas. The second thing is to be extremely competitive. Today's business world, especially in India, I feel in the West things are a lot more systematic, a little more disciplined perhaps, but in India it is a very savage environment, and particularly for a woman. So it's important to constantly compete with your competitors, and that means you have to upgrade your knowledge in technology and upgrade your skills as any professional or any entrepreneur. So that's something I practice on a day-to-day basis. The greatest competition is benchmarking yourself with yourself. The other thing that I would really stress upon for women entrepreneurs is to stay focused. It's important to focus, focus, and focus. This is something my Cornell professor dinned into my head, and I thank Sheila Danko for it. Unless you're focused, you will lose track of what you want to market. And if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to develop a brand and constantly market the brand and advocate for that brand 24/7. There is no 9 to 5 schedule when it comes to entrepreneurship. Another thing that I learned in my journey is never fear failure. It's important to go through failure, it's important to go through suffering, because that's when you know the strengths that are inherent in yourself, things that you never knew existed. My husband took off for 2 years of a serious illness, something very similar to Mr. Shami's. He was speaking about it this morning. Oscar almost passed away, and I remember negotiating for the cost of a coffin. Indian society is never good to widows and women who practice business on their own. And I had to discover that and work at it for almost 2 years till Oscar came back. But that was a good learning experience for me, because it's important to never give up. The other thing that I found is very important is that you turn a disadvantage into an advantage. It's very critical in business. It's important to stay independent and motivated. It's also important to develop leadership skills. It's also important to be a creative thinker, because things change every day. We live in the space age, not the old stuff. So creativity is something that we women are automatically good at. So I think that's also another thing on the checklist that is very important. The last item on my checklist is to be financially savvy. A lot of women close down businesses because they are not financially savvy. Women have to network with other women. They have to hire the best of experts in the financial field, in the legal field to stay afloat. These are the few points that I've learned during my, my journey in entrepreneurship, and I hope this is of use to you guys. The best decision I made in my life was to come back to India. India is a great country. It's a fantastic country. There are a lot of good things that are happening for women today. And if we want to be powerful and have a say in this country, I would encourage women to fight for 33% or maybe 40% partnership and participation in our Indian Parliament. We are almost 50% of the population, but hardly 10% of us sit in the Parliament, and we have men making rules for us, men creating frameworks and telling us how to live our life. I think we should pull our socks up and do something in this regard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pani. Thank you for your radical sharing. Thank you for that radical call to action. Are you next in line though? You've got to walk the talk, right? Yes? Maybe, yes. We're going to be there cheering for you. We're going to be there for sure. I'd like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Kairati Selvan, the Managing Director of CAD Center, Asia's largest network of training institutes for engineering design software. It's a pleasure to have you.
Hi, good evening. Good evening. Good, thank you. I'm Selvan, I'm from CAD Center. CAD Center is the largest engineering design services company in the country. I am from somewhere close to Madurai, about 100 kilometers from Madurai, from a small village. Passed out engineering around 1990. Wanted to start a business, and that is when computers came into this country. Okay, if you go back in history, 1982 was the personal computers were launched. 1984, the PC-based CAD software came in. CAD is computer-aided design, the software that is used for making designs, different products. So we started as the first CAD training company in Chennai. Then we started an outlet in Bangalore, then Delhi. Then 1995 we started franchising. Okay, today we operate about 600 training centers in about 31 countries. In 1995, all our money is gone, in the sense all is invested. Then we started franchising. Okay, so all these outlets I'm talking about is franchising. So the first thing we started, I'm an engineer, so we started do something in engineering, so we came into design. So the first one, what we had, the attribute for our success is the passion. Okay, we selected a field which we are passionate about. So for any entrepreneur, success is based on the passion, based on what kind of love you have for the job that you are doing. It's almost 32 years since we started. 1987, December 26th we started. We have completed 32 years in the same field and staying focused, continuing to grow. Okay, so we started franchising in 1995. Then we started setting up centers across country, across the globe. Then we have mastered the art of franchising. Then we took over the India's largest family saloon network, Naturals. So today we run Naturals, CAD Center, we run Dream Zone. We run almost about 14 different brands. 14 different brands with about 1,600 plus outlets in about 32 countries. So most of these people, the franchisees, work for Naturals or CAD Center or women. My experience of working with women is pretty good. The people are truly successful. The most of the people who come and cry with us is men, not the women. Women take it as a challenge and they do pretty well. They have a very clear objective. When they start a business, they know what they are getting into, not just based on whether you will make more money or less money. They get into a business if they are passionate about. When they take up the responsibility, I believe they focus completely. If there is a family support system, they are able to focus into the business much better than men. Okay, when, being an entrepreneur is something very, very good. Normally, my partners say being an entrepreneur is like a freedom fighter. The next age, the next freedom fighting moment is all about becoming an entrepreneur. Okay, because you are a giver. You becoming an entrepreneur, you are going to start giving an employment, you are going to start giving career, you are going to make a lot of money, you are going to give, you are going to distribute wealth being an entrepreneur. Okay, so my take for being successful, being an entrepreneur, as an entrepreneur for last 32 years, working with thousands of entrepreneurs across the globe, men and women. The first one for you to be successful is passion. You should start some business where you are passionate about. Then there has to be an objective. There has to be a goal post. There has to be a purpose. Okay, not just the money. You have to have a purpose beyond money, beyond being successful. So you have to have passion, you have to be having objective and measurement parameters. What is your key measurement parameters? What do you consider successful? Then the focus. You should be completely focused, 100% focused to the business. No Diwali, no Pongal, no holidays, nothing. 24/7, day in and day out. You should live for your business, your passion. Somebody should get sleepless nights for becoming successful. If everybody runs part-time, it's going to be a struggle. So you should be passionate, you should be focused, you should invest time. I am sure you are going to be truly successful. Congratulations, all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Selvin. Thank you for that analogy of, it was very unique for an entrepreneur being a freedom fighter. Because it's a multi-sensory experience. We see it, we live it every day. So thank you for that very interesting sharing. I'd like to invite our next speaker, Dr. S. Rajamohan, an environmentalist at EnviroCare. It's an honor to hear from you.
Very good evening to all of you. I am Raj Mohan. I was born and brought up in a place called Usulambatti. It's a very rural place, 40 kilometers from here. My parents were teachers. All my parents' wish was to become an assistant engineer in a PWD or some college as a professor. I completed my BE Civil Engineer from Coimbatore. Since I studied in Coimbatore, I have a passion. Coimbatore is a vibrant city. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. This is how I started. I completed my ME from Gindi Engineering College and PhD from Madurai. I started my career as a teacher in Tyagarajar Engineering College in the year 1992. But my passion was, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. After that, I got married. You know, marriage will change everybody's life. So my wife is here. So this is how I started. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So one fine morning, I was searching for a Madurai is a place not good for a business. I know Mr. Bangera is there. He is our very senior person, very respectable person in the society in the Tamil Nadu. He knows about all these things. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I was looking for an opportunity. I started with a consultancy of rupees 2,000 rupees way back 22 years back. Getting a consultancy was for 2,000 rupees. So this is how I started involving as an entrepreneur. Thank God, today we are doing around 40 crores of business. So after traveling for 22 years, I am able to give an employment to around 350 people in the down south of Tamil Nadu. And the only thing is, all the people I thought if I would be in Chennai, if I would be in America or Bangalore, I would have become a successful entrepreneur. It is not the case. Since I was in Madurai, I was able to become a successful entrepreneur. One very important challenge I faced, I was working in a Tyagarajar Engineering College with a decent salary of 1.5 lakh. college professor, you know what is the role of, what is the work of college professor? Only you can shout and run the show. That time, I have to take a decision whether I have to leave the job and become a full-time entrepreneur or part-time entrepreneur. I was discussing with my wife. She told me very clearly, you leave the job, focus on business. That was a very costly decision I have taken in my life. Leaving a job after working as a professor for 16 years, I left it. After left, it is almost 16 years is over. Thank God, I am successful because of the decision which I have taken in the year 2005. So that is a very important decision. I leave 3 things for the entrepreneurs. PhD. I have completed PhD. Many people have completed PhD. P, passion. Passion is very, very important. Without passion, no one can become a successful businessman. And H, hunger. You may have a passion or whatever it is. Hunger is important. You need a hungry. You need to have a successful businessman to have a hungry in your heart. And last one is P for passion, H for hunger, third for discipline. Very important thing. You may be a good educated person. Discipline in life is important. Punctuality and attending the call. Be a disciplined person. Be a role model to not only to the society. This is very important. But when people have PhD, definitely everybody will have a successful businessman. And I remember 2 people because of this Women Economic Forum. My mother wanted to be an educationalist. My wife changed me to an entrepreneur. Thank you.
Wonderful, Doctor. Thank you for your wonderful sharing and thank you for responding to the call of the women in your life. Thank you. I'd like to invite our next speaker, Mr. L. Ramanathan, the Managing Director of Sri Vinayagara Screens, one of the largest commercial offset printing houses in Tamil Nadu. That's right. Would you prefer this? Okay.
Good evening. Good evening. Hi. எண்ணிய முடிதல் வேண்டும், நல்லவை எண்ணல் வேண்டும், தென்னிய நெஞ்சம் வேண்டும், தெளிந்த நல் அறிவு வேண்டும், பண்ணிய பாவம் எல்லாம் பரிதி முன் பணியை போல நன்னிய நென்முன் இங்கு நசித்திடல் வேண்டும் அண்டாய் என்ற அன்னை மீனாட்சியின் வார்த்தையை, இறை வாழ்த்தை இங்கு பதிவிட்டு, கல் தோன்றி மண் தோன்றி கடல் தோன்றுவதற்கு முன் தோன்றிய மூத்த மொழியான தமிழ் மொழியை வழங்கி, அத்தகு பெருமை மிக்க தமிழ் மொழியின் வளர்ப்பிடமான மதுரை மண்ணை இங்கு முத்தமிட்டு, மதுரை மண்ணின் மாமகுடத்தில் மற்றொரு வைரமாய் விளங்கும் ஆல் லேடிஸ் கிளப்பை இங்கு வணங்கி, இங்கு வருகை தந்த அனைவரையும் வருக 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 என்று இரக்கரம் கூப்பி சிரம் தாழ்த்தி வரவேற்பதில் பெருமகிழ்ச்சி அடைகிறேன். Many didn't understand. That's what. I hope many didn't understand. मैंने कुछ नहीं बोला. मन से दिल से प्यार से आप सबका स्वागत किया. ये मदुरई का कल्चर है. I welcomed you all with full heart, with a lot of love. People from abroad, people from all parts of the country. I'm not very good at English. I got a mail last week that Ram, you have to speak in English. I'm not very good at it. So I thought, a couple of days back, I got a mail that you have to speak from your heart. So when you want to speak in English or speak from a heart? Because when I speak from heart, it always comes in my mother tongue, not in English. So when you propose a girl, you propose, I love you. But after that and before that, you always tell in Tamil, right? So that's how you can impress people. So leaving fun part apart, every checklist, passion, working hard, ethics, determination, discipline, compassion, self-starter, open-minded, ellame they have talked, everyone has talked. What am I left to talk? So I thought, culture. So culture is something which you have to develop. This is a Tamil culture of welcoming the guest from abroad, from other part of country, by welcoming them in a sweet Tamil poem way, so which I did. So this is exactly what I do in my business. I have set up a culture which actually creates an attitude in each and every employee in my company. I started, when I came into business, it was just 15 people. Now I have 150 not members, 150 families who depend on us. That's my attitude. So that's the culture which I have created in my company. It's been 10 years. I've joined my dad at 40 years business. So checklist, yeah, checklist is there. But something which I would like to tell you is a secret which I learned. So many people here have incurred losses in their business. But I am the only person who is standing here who was hopeless in everything. I never passed in my physics exam till my 12th standard. Mathematics, the worst. So my mother thought, no, this person should not be here in this place, otherwise he will go down the drain. So she got an admission for me in Pune University, paying 80,000 rupees. So that's how I went to Pune. मेरा हिंदी इसलिए इतना अच्छा है, मैं मराठी भी बोल सकता हूँ. So I went there in Pune. There I went for studying, right? I was hopeless. I was the darkest person in the college. I cannot speak English very well. The climate, weather was completely different. Food was not at all acceptable. Na soru, I eat soru, not chapati and stuff. So it was like hell for me. What am I doing here? So after going there, I fell in love. I went there for studying, but after going there, I fell in love. So this girl was constant. I have proposed more than 150 times, trust me. And all that 150 times she said no, 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 with more intensity going on. No, 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 get out of my sight. So this is what the thing which I have got from her too. So one fine day I went her, see, this is the last time I'm going to ask you, are you going to say yes or not? In Tataputa English. So she waited, she gave me a very rude look and she took a paper and wrote a letter for me. See, Ram, you are a good friend of mine, but I cannot say yes to you because everything is different. But if at all you want me to say yes to you, you will have to top the University of Pune. You will have to top the University of one of the toughest university in the country. You have to top it. So I took it happily. I thought it was a love letter. I opened it. I was like, what can I do? It was like a big insult for me. I went, I was like totally gone. Had 2-3 bottles of beer, totally drunk. In the hotel, a similar thing was going on. I was in the bar drinking. While crossing this, I heard a speaker say something. A handsome speaker like me. Huh? So I came inside. Yeah. So she is impressed. So I came inside. I was standing. I always stand in the back. Even today I was sitting in the back. So I came in the back and I was listening. What is this guy speaking? So he told me something which actually changed my life. So he said 3 words, madam: perceive, believe and achieve. So that's the thing. So he explained me what's perceive. Something which you do from the brain. You perceive, you believe and you will achieve it. After that I went back to the bar again, had a good number of bottles of beer and went back to sleep, and I couldn't sleep at all. This thing which he told was completely running on in my mind. Perceive, believe, achieve, perceive, believe. What perceive, believe? You can achieve anything if you believe it. That's what he told. You can achieve anything. How can I achieve? So I went back. I took a couple of days off. I was upset. No, not even say days. No. So I was completely upset. So that was the time I started to learn how to learn. I never learned in my school days. So I learned how to learn. So I started learning, I started studying. Like my friends used to study till late night at 3 o'clock, but I used to get up at 3 o'clock and study, the early morning thing which madam mentioned. So your brain will be completely free. So that's how I started learning. So the exams were up. I had 5 arrears already and 5 new exams. So 10 exams. Like my friends used to have 1 day off for each and every exam, but I used to have continuously 10 days exam. Trust me, when the result was up, I was number 1 in the University of Pune, which I still cannot believe. So whenever I go in that depressed state, I used to think about this thing again. Okay, when I could do that time, why not next time? Still, this is the only rule or secret which I still follow in my life. Perceive, believe, achieve. If you constantly believe that I can do it, we sure can do it. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Well, you didn't complete the story. What happened with the girl? You can't leave us like this.
So I'm happily married with her for 7-8 years.
Oh. But she obviously It was the most impossible task and you did it. Was she dismayed? Or was she happy? Could she believe it, that you done it? No, we want to know. We want to know. Everyone wants to know.
So when I actually got the result, I went to her, I showed, see, I have done it. So she actually gave me a tight hug in front of the total crowd and said it.
Oh. So she was in denial. She just wanted to. Checklist. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, perceive, believe, achieve. Thank you for leaving us with that powerful mantra. As we meet with the last speaker of the last session of day 1 of the WEF in Madurai, I welcome Aladi Arun, the founder of AK Consultants, providing career counseling services all over India. Welcoming you, sir.
Good evening, friends. I first and foremost thank Mamta for giving me this chance to come here to WEF. Before starting and sharing my experiences, I would like to talk of a small girl who too had dreams, but overnight became a woman with a vision. This is none other than my great-grandmother, and this was in the 1920s. She was widowed at a very young age of around 18 years. And she had two great responsibilities at that time. One was in bringing up my grandfather, who was just 18 months old. And the other was rebuilding the entire family. But for her, I don't think all of us in my family would be here today. So women have played, she has played a very big impact in our lives. So friends, coming back to my thing, my checklist, I returned from New Zealand after my studies, and in 2006 started AK Consultants. A lot of confusions, a lot of thoughts, and again it was my wife who told that if you have the drive to succeed, you will definitely achieve. So that's the way I started, and today 14 years have gone by, and we have been very successful in designing student careers through a study abroad. And we have a very high success rate of around 85% of our students transiting from studies to work, especially in New Zealand, where we have a very high success rate of visas also. In 2018, August 2018, Immigration New Zealand, which is the body of granting visas, issued data of Indian student agents, and around of 100 agents, 3 of us were shortlisted as having 100% visa approval, and I'm very happy to say that I'm one among them. So, and then see the checklist, as my previous speaker told, I think all of them have really touched upon most of the things. But what we believe in is, in my team, we think it is a great opportunity and a responsibility students have given us. So that is the driving point for us. Because see, when students come to us, most of them come without any sort of ideas as to what is to be done and what should be the next point of the decision making process. So we put in a lot of efforts in making sure that they are given the correct pathways and they head on to the next path of their life. So what happens is, when students choose a study option, the first question we ask them, unlike others, is that what is the reason for you to study? Because actually many students come here thinking of asking where to go and study, but our questioning is totally different. So based on this, we've been driving our business, and in fact it's not a business, it's more of a social service work. In fact, one of my management professors used to keep on saying entrepreneurs are also social service workers. So that's the way we keep doing things. And some time ago I had a chance to listen to one of Mr. Bangera's lectures, in which he was saying about the oil seals he manufactures. He says that He doesn't want anyone in the world to be stranded, any one car to be stranded in the world because of any malfunctioning of his oil seals. Similarly, we have a same policy. For no fault of us should any of our, for any fault of us should our students be put to hardships. So every document that come to us, we make sure that we give an utmost care and we make sure that things are put in place. Because getting visas these days is becoming very, very tough. So we make sure that we stick to those kind of very strict quality norms to make sure that our students get through and don't face any difficulties. And then in terms of our work culture, well, I have given 100% freedom to my team. So we really give them the chance to think on their own and act on their own and in fact even grow. So responsibilities are designated and the way we work is very simple. We keep things very, very down to earth. We don't really complicate things. So that is again a very big checklist which I have seen. Never complicate things. Think like one of my professors in New Zealand used to keep saying, think globally, but at the same time make sure you act locally. So that is one of the biggest success mantras for me. So keep things simple and I'm sure things would definitely fall in place. And then another big point I would really make it here is that never compare yourself with others. I am my own competitor. I never make it a point to really look at how things are. Yeah, in fact, when I started here, people used to say you're starting in Madurai, which is actually a very small town. But I had my own thoughts, and as my wife told, so that was the reason we started here, and so based on this, I'm really happy that I had a chance to come and meet you all, and wishing you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aladi Arun. Would it be fitting conclusion to this conversation? We have reclaimed successfully entrepreneurship through social service. That was a very interesting concept you brought in. Through firefighting. Who said that? Oh, it was the previous session. Through checklists, and more importantly, by cutting through the checklists. With love and romance. Yes, you. With heart and soul. Thank you so much for all of your sharings, for all of your lessons that you've shared with us today. We'd like to honor you with small tokens of our gratitude as we present to you the awards. On the concluding session of day 1 of the Women Economic Forum in Madurai, I call upon Janet Hutchins to please take away this award of an exceptional woman of excellence at the Women Economic Forum. We congratulate you for the body of work you do, Janet. Calling upon Connie M. Conceso. Please accept this award as an exceptional woman of excellence. Mr. B.T. Bangera. Yeah, really? You made it all day. This is amazing. Actually, we're clapping for you. Please, please. We have another presentation to follow. Please don't go anywhere. Mr. L. Ramanathan. Please accept this honor as an exceptional leader of excellence. Mr. Kariyadi Selvan. Raja Mohan. Mr. Aladi Arun. I request the panelists to please step up so we can take a photo of this moment together. On a count of 3, make some noise. 1, 2, 3. Woo! And this is us offering our gratitude to all of you for your patience and love all day. And save some tonight, get a good rest because we need it tomorrow as well. We're a little bit demanding. We have a special presentation by the Indian Navy. You met Lieutenant Commander Swati earlier this morning. She was presenting at a parallel session. We've brought the presentation to the main hall. It's a 45-minute presentation on the inner workings of this spectacular woman and the work she does and the Indian Navy. And right after that, for those of us who are joining us for the gala dinner, please meet us at 6:45 by the pool.